Hello, I'm here today to present my final paper that I did for 764. I decided to write a case study on the effects of behavioral effects on L students or bilingual learners. So I did my case study while I was student teaching in a 5th grade classroom. I'll refer to the student as Ro or RO in my paper. The class consisted of 32 students. All of the students were in a dual language Spanish-English program. So each day they would switch every other day. From one day would be English class with one teacher, and then the next day would be a Spanish class with another teacher, and it would be conducted solely in Spanish. So it was a group of 64 kids in total, 32 in each class. So I conducted my case study. I wanted to watch a student that was participating in this bilingual program, this dual language program, who additionally is an L student. He moved here about 2 years ago from another country, as well as has behavioral issues. So I wanted to see the effects that we always talk about differentiating for students that need help with language and have these language barriers and things like that. And so I thought it would be something different to see when behavioral effects come into play. So my findings were interesting. I found that, it really doesn't only have the effect that he's the L struggler. One of the biggest factors in this is that I noticed his behavior would change based on which classroom he was in. So when he was in Spanish, he had a male teacher. He tended to respect the male teacher much more. He also tended to participate a lot more often in class. And he also tended to really succeed in this classroom. And the behavioral issues were very limited when it came to his days when he was in the Spanish classroom. However, I did note that on the days he was in the English class, his behavior definitely changed. He tended to act out a lot more. He was not as participatory as he was on the Spanish days, as well as he was not as respectful to his teacher, who did happen to be a female. When I looked into this, it seems that he does not have a female figure at home. So his father was saying that he believed that maybe that was part of the reason, that there was a lack of respect there, or again, this is all inferences, but to me it was clear that on days that he was in English, he tended to struggle more, and that he didn't feel as confident as he did in the days where he would participate in the Spanish class. So I think that was a big factor when it came to his behavior. As well as the language. So it's interesting to see the two interact with each other. The fact that not only do you have the student now who is in 5th grade, is struggling to come into his own and really find himself, but he's also an L learner. He is learning English, even though he's been here for 2 years. I wouldn't call him a struggling L. He's very close to being no longer labeled as an L, especially considering the fact that he is in the dual language program. However, it really tends to affect the behavior and the fact that he really acts out when he's in a classroom that he does not feel as strong. So, for example, in the dual language classroom, the two teachers collaborate with each other. So they make sure that their ELA lessons, their math lessons, science, social studies, etc., everything is in sync with each other. It's just the difference is on each day, it's either in English or in Spanish, but the unit goes along throughout, there's no gaps, there's no different subjects or anything like that. So when you see the student who is excelling, for example, maybe in division on the Spanish days, and he's doing long division, and he's participating, and he's getting all the answers right, and he's really getting engaged in the lessons. And then you see him the next day with the follow-up lesson, which is, for the most part, relatively a similar lesson, the same subject area, but he's not necessarily participating. He's calling out. When I did observe him, he wasn't necessarily doing the work, but rather kind of distracting the other students. Same thing went with the ELA the writing lesson that he was observed in. So it's a very interesting thing, and I enjoyed writing this paper. I thought it was interesting to watch, and I'm very fortunate I had this opportunity. So I hope you enjoyed reading my paper, and I hope you enjoy seeing the difference between L learners versus L learners who are struggling with behavioral issues as well. All right, thank you so much. My name is Kelly Misiti. Have a great day.